A good Devach Afreil and Chanukah. Today's shir is going to be about in Yonei Chanukah and also how it relates to Daf Yomi, to the sugya of Reb Akiva Eiger. The gemara in Shabbos Chafal from the base, the sugya of Chanukah. It starts off my Chanukah. The gemara goes there and says the whole story. The Ivana came to the heichal and everything, all the oil was tamei, and they found one pach shemen. Reb Akiva Eiger in the gilyon hashas over there, he's mitzayin to Shal's Chuvas batei kehuna. And if you look at the batei kehuna, he asks a kasha. He says, how did they know that the oil was tamei? It was only a safek. You don't know for sure it was tamei. We'll say it wasn't. There was no seal of the Kohen Gadol on it, but you don't know for sure that they were tamei. The tumah was hesed. That's about the gunas kasha al. And he says if it's a safek, l'chayr should have a din in safek tumah rishus harrabim, like we had later on in Pesachim, that the azar is a din of rishus harrabim. They affected about the kehuna. So what was the problem with heichal? You should have been able to use the shemen for the menorah because safek tumah rishus harrabim is fake heitar. It's affected about the kehuna. That's his kasha. Reb Akiva Eiger has been saying it. So I saw a married Getaretz from Reb Nochum Weidenfeld, the Dombrov. He was the brother of the Tchebiner. He says a gewaldige chiddush. We had in the gemara before. The gemara says some things are called tamei, some things are called puzzle. What's the difference? So it's before in the gemara bepasht is that anything which is tamei, something else gets a shame tamei. But anything which is tamei by itself, but it can't be metamei something else, is called puzzle. So Zok the Nochum, the Dombrov, that mashkin. The Gemara says safek mashkin litamei tamei litamei acherim tar. So let's go to the pashtus that mashkin is mekabel tumah midiraisa, but it's not metamei others. Midiraisa only midirabanan. That's why the Gemara says safek mashkin. If you have a safek, it's mekabel tumah for itself. But it's not going to be tamei others misafek because that's only a derabanan. So he says shemen was mashkin, so therefore it's mekabel tumah, but it's not. Doesn't make other things tamei, so it doesn't have a din tumah. It has a din of psul. So memela zok there will be no din safek tumah shisrab mashkin because mashkin is not called tamei. It's a whole different din. All you have is the regular din of safek derais l'chumra. That so you don't have din of safek derais is tar. So safek derais l'chumra would fathered that you to tell me that it's. That the Shema was takatome in the Beis Hamikdash. As he zogt, the Nochum agrees with Chiddush. Now, from the sugya later on, it says Zayin Amanal. It's not partial. The gemara is mashkin over there. The gemara actually says meforish that hasam ikri tamei, and in that case of mashkin, it's called tamei, even if it's not metamei others. But he makes a cheshbon. He goes b'shem the tzlach. The maskana sagamara that you learned the pasuk is only talking about to be machshir. It's not referring to the mashkin itself. Then you don't have makar. The mashkin is called tamei. So as I zogt the Chazay Nochum. So now with this the chayra. You could, so he's answering the kasha of the batei kehuna. That's in the safek of why there was no safek tumah rabbim by ner Chanukah. So now let's go back to Pesachim Daf Tezayin. The gemara over there says safek mashkin li tamei to become tamei. It's tamei if you have a safek because safek derais l'chumra. The tamei acherim tar because it's only the rabbanon. So Rashi over there says why is the tamei tamei? Is it Rashi? Havli sveka the raisu l'chumra. It's a safek deraisa and l'chumra. The Chazay Nochum, the Chayra, why is he saying safek deraisa l'chumra? He should say, obviously, after we were talking about Rishus HaYachid, because the Rishus Ram safek tumah is tar, so he should say, have the safek tumah Rishus HaYachid. Because Zok there, right, from Rashi, Mamish, like his Vart, that there's no din safek tumah on this case, because it's not called tamei, all it is called pasul. And he wants to be yashiv with this, Taisus Kasha, Daf Tezvav Manalef. We're not going to get into that. He handles what's the case exactly, what are we talking about over here. Now, I just want to say that we find a similar thing, Gabi Tumah Derabanan, the Rabbis Engel, and I saw that Mr. Yankiv also on that as well. They learned Taisus that all Tumah Derabanan doesn't have a din Tumah B'chlal. It's not called Tamei. It wouldn't have any din of Tumah Shizram or anything. It's a new din. It's called Aser. It's the Chomim Sak and Tumah, but doesn't have the characteristics of Tumah. So we're saying the same Yisoid by anything which is Pasul, which is not Tamei others, it doesn't have a din Tumah. So now back to this Rashi. So Rashi, the case of safek to mashkin li tamei tamei. Rashi calls the sefer, it's the brisa in Tyrus, the Sefton Tyrus. The brisa gives two cases. What's the case of safek mashkin li tamei to become tamei, and one is the tamei acherim. So the case of li tamei is the brisa. It's a case if you have a tamei who's sitting on top of a water, on top of a well, and he's shaking his feet, and you're not sure if he touched the water or not. That's the case of safek mashkin li tamei is tamei. Now what's the case of the Rashi? What's the case of tamei acherim? You have a stick on top of its water, mashkin tamei, and there's mashkin tamei, and you know the mashkin is tamei. That's the kachi shnuya b'mesech the tyrus. That's the Rashi means down the Mishnah tyrus. That's the chil between the Mishnah and the Seifa. And a pnei over here off an art, and after Zayin he asks, why in the Seifa do we have to pick a new case where we know the mashkin is tamei? Could have picked the same case of the ratio of where basically it could be one big case. Ratio and say if you have a guy sitting who's tamei, you're not sure if he touched the water or not, and then this water touches something else. So the water itself has a safek mashkin li tamei is tamei, but it's not tamei something else because that's already tamei acher. Why did you have to pick a new case? The tamei acher with the mashkin. There are different cases where you know the mashkin is for sure tamei. So the pnei chidish pshat is because in such a case, since you're paskening that the mashkin is tamei when the guy touched it for the mashkin itself, so there are mela safek tumah sheyachid asal kevadai, memela if it touched something else, that thing would also become tamei, even though that's betzim safek mashkin tamei acher. He says no, because once it's the tumah kevadai, it's too late. As they up to pnei Yeshua. So now the safek Chedvasa Dishmatsa from Reb Yekusiel Kamler, he was a Rishiva in Chachmei Lublin. He asks a kasha on this from Mishnah and Tyrus. The Mishnah says that if you have a goisis, someone and you're carrying him from Rosh Hashanah to harrabim, and you're not sure when he died. So anything in the Rosh Hashanah is tamei, because safek tumah is tamei. Anything in Rosh Hashanah is tahor, because safek tumah is tahor. Now, even if it went to Rosh Hashanah after Rosh Hashanah, so it's impossible that something in something in Rosh Hashanah is tamei and the Rosh Hashanah is tahor. I feel hachi is the safek tumah Rosh Hashanah is tamei and Rosh Hashanah is tahor. Correct there, according to pnei Yeshua, once you have a psak of safek tumah Rosh Hashanah tamei, that you're paskin, that you make it tamei even Rosh Hashanah. So what's down in the Mishnah in Tyrus? So when I said over this kasha the other day in the koil, so the Bloom brothers, Reb Chanoch and Reb Ashi, they right away jumped in to say what kind of kasha is. It's not sushtal b'chlal. In the pnei Yeshua's case, where you're passing the water's tamei, says up there. Once the water's tamei, memela, it could be betam others. It's a teitzah of that psak. It's not. You don't need a new psak. Mashkin over here, it's a new shasayach. So you're passing everything in the room is tamei. When it comes to harrabim, it's not a teitzah of the original psak. It's a new shiloh. It's two separate shilohs. So then there, it's safek tumah harrabim. That has, it's not a tushtal b'chlal. The case of pnei Yeshua is only once you're passing on a specific thing, it's tamei, that could be metam others. So that's a chayr murray the guitarist. It's very good. But I want to say the chayr you could say nachataret. I mean his kasha is, he's asking the chayr safek tumah if you hold kevadei like the way pnei Yeshua is saying it. So then the chayr, what's the difference? The chayr kevadei should say that's what happened. No, vadei passing is a shiloh. That's his kasha. But yeah, this is saying a good chilik. So I just wanted to say that first I'll say the chilik, the teretz to his kasha, and then I'll explain it. That, like we said before, from the Dombrov and the Nochum, that this Rashi is not learning safek tumah shus yachid. It's rather it's safek deraisa l'chumra, because since mashkin is not matame others midiraisa only midirabanan, so it doesn't have a din tumah. So all it is safek deraisa l'chumra. So now I want to say, so then the svar of the pnei Yeshua would only apply in such a case of safek deraisa l'chumra. That once you pass the safek deraisa l'chumra, it applies to other things as well. But the guy safek tumah shus yachid, it's not going to, his din won't apply. Now the pnei Yeshua doesn't mean that. You look in the pnei Yeshua, he's not saying that. But I'm just saying to be miyasher the Rashi, you could say like this. That Rashi is only talking al tzafik deraisa l'chumra. Now, you find the case of tzafik deraisa l'chumra that Reb Akiva Eiger says meforish that if you have to say tzafik b'char, it's also megizav avodah midiraisa because tzafik deraisa l'chumra. But he says theoretically it should have been mutter to mat l'mum. Let's say b'char b'zman azeh or l'chutz l'art it should be mutter to mat l'mum. I feel hachas like Reb Akiva Eiger, since we're passing tzafik deraisa l'chumra on the b'char that it's a b'char, memela you're going to say tzafik deraisa l'chumra, and it's going to be also the mat l'mum, even though the mum is only the rabbanon. So you see, clear this concept that once you pass on safek deraisa l'chumra, it goes to other dinim which are the rabbanans, and you shouldn't have the safek deraisa l'chumra. So here also safek mashkin, since you're passing it's tamei, safek mashkin li tamei. So if in the middle if it touches something else, even though that thing should have the tamei acher betzim is safek derabbanan, I feel hachi, it's going to be tamei because like Reb Akiva Eiger says, once you're passing on safek deraisa. Okay, now what about the Mishnah that the Chedvasa Dishmatsa is asking from? Why doesn't that apply to the din of safek tumah shus yachid? So, safek tumah shus yachid safek tamei is a different type of tumah. We find the machlokes in the Yerushalmi if Nazir is megaleach. We say I think we pass Nazir is not megaleach on safek tumah shus yachid. So even though the chayr wants to say the chayr if it's tamei, why is it Nazir megaleach? Also, you find if you have a guy who's tamei, guy touches safek tumah by Pesach Rishon, Yerushalmi has one machlokes in Yerushalmi. One sheet that says he can't bring a Pesach Sheni because you're not sure if he's tamei. You have to make sure he's darach rechayka. So the achronim and the Chaim Eiser and Achiezer Chel Galos and Malav is a big birches. He basically says even though safek kevadai, but it's not mevarer the mitzias. It's a new type of tumah of safek tumah that it's a din of vadai of safek tumah, but it's not going to pass exactly what happened. So in case of safek tumah, you're not going to have this svara. You're not going to be able to say that once it's passing, it passes to everything else. So let's say in that case you have a guy says it's not passing. It's just a din safek tumah. Well, Gabrish Rishrab doesn't apply. In our mission also, if it's not for the case, It's not the fact that it goes with the argument that safek deraisa l'chumra. If it's a tamei something else, then it could be, it wouldn't become tamei, because it's not like the Bloom brothers, because once it's tamei, that's one thing, but it's not passing the shaila. It's a batei, but it's still a ma'aser. The metzias is still a safek. So if it touches something else, I would have told you that it's regular. That much the safek still remains. Since it's a safek deraisa l'chumra, therefore Rashi needed to find a new case. He couldn't have picked that case where the guy touches the water touches something else, because once safek deraisa l'chumra, you're already passing on the water. You have to pick a new case. But it's, like I said, that's only because we're going on that mashkin doesn't have a din of tumah. All his din is aser. Memelo you can be yasher the Rashi similar to the pnei Yeshua's teretz.